Okay, sometimes you think cats are little children. We have our two younger cats, they love to play together. And they're just like two little boys actually. So I just went up the stairs, I walk into my living room, and there's the two cats, both frozen in mid-stride, looking at me with guilt written all over their face. There it goes again. Those bums. Well, maybe we're onto it here. We may be right onto the actual problem. I gotta go check those cats. You know, that's pretty funny. I go up there, once again, there's two frozen cats standing still looking at me. So, guilty. Okay, let's really focus in on this one wire here, because maybe this is the source of the problems. This is the wire that's being strained the most when I have this set open like this. We can almost see right under the board there. That's pretty impressive. So what's happening here is I seem to get a different reading above the board and below the board, which shouldn't happen if I'm touching the same wire. So let me check my meter again. Make a stupid mistake. 3 volts, good. There we go. Okay, so I'm reading on the top right now. The reading is 3.26. That's full battery voltage appearing right there. Right there. And that, I'm pretty sure, is the same as this wire right here. So I should be able to pick up 3.2 volts down here somewhere. If I can just contact the wire. You know what? I don't. The most I see is 2.1. Get a look at this on screen. You're getting a better look at this than me, so see if I can follow along on screen here. Wouldn't you say that that's, well, if it's not this terminal, it has to be this one. This one's a 0. So, you know, on the top, I get 3.26. On the bottom, I get something. It's really not easy to do. There we are, 2.1 again. So what do I think's going on here? I think what's happening is, well, that's definitely the A line, which is the unlabeled line. So this is all matching up with the circuit diagram, this board diagram I'm looking at. It's all matching up. And yes, you should see 3 volts there. Now, back on the display side, where the A wire shows up, there's no indication of what the voltage should be, but it's a piece of wire, so it should be the same voltage at either end. So I think what I'm seeing, this is my guess, my theory, here's my theory. The wire is not connected where we are looking at it. It is broken away somehow, and the voltage I'm reading is back voltage coming back from that board to 2 volts I'm reading. It's just a artifact of the way the radio is operating. So what do we do? Can I lift that board? Can I lift it a little bit? I don't even see how it's connected. I think it's you know what? It's pretty much soldered in about 10 different connections here. See, there's some just over here. Actually, you can see them already. For me to lift this board, I have to remove all these connections, these resistors, at least. And what other little tricky things are soldered to it? If I release those connections, I can lift this board. You know what? That's not the way to do it, though. The way to do it is leave the board in place and jumper the apparently defective wire. Splice into it here and jumper it onto the back here. In fact, I could do some kind of a temporary clip leading sort of thing, or temporary connection into it. Well, what's that? What's that? Hopefully you see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. Now that might be a hole where I punched my lead through, my voltmeter lead through some time ago. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Let's make use of it. And I get 2.4 volts. I did not get the 3 volts. Wiggle the wire. Oh, that's it. I move the wire. It drops to 1.8. This is for sure. We got to deal with this. So we just have to assume that this wire is not making contact here anymore. I'm gonna have to like cut this open and somehow make a connection to the top. I can do this on a temporary experimental basis. Do a smart move. Let's see, cut that open. I'm gonna try an X-Acto knife first. Lucky it's the wire right on the end of the cable. Might as well go right in this spot here. Now when I'm doing this, I'm feeling with the blade, and the hand that's holding the knife, I'm feeling it for it to strike the wire. Another way to do this with take your ohm meter and hook it up to your knife and all that. But you can usually feel these things. They're usually quite distinct. There, I can just feel it. So, yeah, I can cut along it now. I don't want to cut the wire, that's for sure. Okay, that's got to be enough. Now I should pull the wire out a little bit. Kind of need a pin to do that. I think I keep a hat pin. Yeah, I keep a hat pin jammed in the rafters here for such purposes. Again, I can see better on the pin could even turn into the electrode. I can see better on the screen, but I cannot coordinate my hand movements by looking at the screen. something you don't want to hear your surgeon say. Actually, generally, you don't want to hear your surgeon at all, do you? If you hear him say anything, you're in trouble. And we're doing this whole thing with the radio on and sort of half operating too, which I think is good. I can't get at it. Can't get at it, and I can't see why. Maybe I can get at it with a knife. There we go. Okay, so I squeezed out the wire now. Something curious about that. When I bent that wire out, it bent out really easily, as if it's not connected to anything at the far end. Let's read the voltage on it, see if anything's changed. .14. Same voltage. And on the top, 3.25. I think it's time to connect those two guys together. And I think I'm going to put in the what could become the permanent jumper. I'm going to do it that way right away. The reason I'm going to do it this way is because it's the one certain way of doing the test. That wire is supposed to be connected to that terminal, so if it turns out to do nothing, if it turns out I'm totally wrong, what's the harm? I've just paralleled an existing wire, so I'm not doing any harm. I'm not changing anything from what it's supposed to be, so that's my thinking there. So I just get a little wire here. This wire is so small, my wire strippers can't strip the wire on it. So I'm just trying to prepare the end of the wire. Got my soldering iron turned on and turned up high so it'll heat up quick. Could this be it? Could this be it? Well, if experience is any indicator, no, this won't be it. But actually, I'm kind of hopeful on this one. Now, what about putting the soldering iron to this thing while it's operating? This radio is quite isolated from the power line. I don't think it can cause a problem. Well, once again, you can see a lot better on the camera. That'll do it. So I don't think there's any problem. Usually the tip of the soldering iron is grounded. I really don't know, to be honest with you. Never really checked it. Maybe not on this one. Maybe not on this soldering iron. Talking about solder. Here it is. Yeah, we'll see if we can make some nice smoke come up on this. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's soldered on there. Like a dummy, I didn't clean the other end of the wire. Now I've got the wire. I got the wire connected, and I have to remove the insulation here. Just a wee little bit. Like you don't want too much off here. Not helpful. You can hear each time I contact the wire, there's a bit of a click in the radio. This is a very thin. Oh boy. It's fixed there, it's fixed. Leave that wire there. We're done. We're done. Pack it up. Put it together. Quick, take some voltage readings. Hurry, man, hurry. I can't turn the sound down. It's not tuning. It's not working properly. 2.1 volts there. Oh man, I want to turn it off now because I'm running a. I'm gonna get a copyright hit on this. Phooey. Okay. I gotta turn it off. How come no voltage control or no volume control on there? That's kind of strange. Well, I don't know if turning it off was really a smart thing to do or not, but let's carry on here. Certainly gives me the impression I'm in the right zone, eh? And maybe what we're seeing is, well, I don't know what we're seeing. Maybe a little bit of voltage got through, or a little bit of current, I guess, would get through, and charge up enough of the computer. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I certainly don't know. So we're going to connect that. You know what? Let's turn it on. Okay, we're back to I'm not working situation. The volume is not all the way up. It will now touch this wire to the 3-volt deal. And we'll blow the radio up. Here we go. It's an exciting moment coming here. Okay, radio off, and we're going to solder that wire in place. That was pretty interesting what happened there, wasn't it? I'm going to solder this in a way that it's not going to get schmucked when I put the radio back together. It's right at the limit of my vision in here. I got a lot of exposed copper again. No. Getting anywhere there. Need a little fresh solder on it. Great. That's not my meter that goes to sleep on me. My computer screen goes to sleep too. Oh no, get the right one. It's this one here, isn't it? Yeah, I need a different point on my soldering iron. Okay, some fresh solder there. Ah! That's not good at all. Okay. Okay, it's soldered there, but I think I may have shorted out 2 spots there. Let's take a good close look at it. How about a little focus? Offhand, I'd say it's not shorted. I see it looks like a little tiny chip of solder there in between. No, feels good. Let's test it with a voltmeter. So what I'm testing for is a short between those two, between the area I soldered and anything adjacent to it. Now, no. Okay, tone means short. Now, is that on purpose? Not very likely would that be shorted on purpose. I sure don't see anything. Let's take a look again. Well, a sadder situation would be that it's got a short underneath somehow. Oh, see, my camera's acting up, eh? My computer. Wow, it doesn't look like it's shorted, but it's very hard to tell from looking at it. Drag my pointer through there again. I don't feel anything. Wow. Not good. Alright, buried my circuit diagram under all my tools here. Wait a minute. There it is, back here. Okay, if we look down, oh, this isn't going to help. No, that's not going to help. And the only one that's going to help is this. This diagram here, and A and B are certainly doing very different things. I don't think they should show a short at all. Phooey. Let's check again. Let's check again. Ooh. What to think about that now? I'm doing everything I can to avoid lifting this board because I think it's just going to be a disastrous problem if I try that. Because I can lift it a little bit. I don't think I can easily lift it high enough to get at those connections. And even if I release most of the stuff on this side of the board so I can kind of, open it up like a book a bit, the actual wires we're dealing with are all going to interfere with lifting the board. I'd have to remove them from the other end to make them float so I can flip that board over. I don't like it one bit. And who knows what is soldered up through that little board, if anything, from down below. That would also have to be released. Oh my God. And how sure are we that that short circuit reading is really valid? Or should I just turn the bloody radio on and see what happens? Not usually a recommended approach. I just don't see any short there. If anything, it looks like there's a short on this side, right in here, but there isn't. And this side here, I don't see that there's a short above the board here. Really, I just don't see it. I get in there and just monkey around with a soldering iron. Whatever's happening might just get worse and worse. I look with my magnifying glass, and if it sounds like I'm talking right in your ear, I'm right up against the camera microphone here. No evidence of a short there at all. Pretty crummy solder job on my part, though. Well, could it be two wires that are in trouble here? Let's, well, I think what I'll do is I'm going to poke my voltmeter lead through the cable and hit the second wire. Let me start with a pin, maybe. This kind of stuff is what's flexing this wire terribly. I'm trying to do this in a way that won't put undue force on the wire. Better ways of doing this. Ooh, didn't that go through? Did I hit the wire though? That in itself would be tricky to know for sure. Bottom of this pin looks like it's got something insulating on it, some kind of goop. Anyway, let's see what we got at this point. See if we can pick up the short. Oh, that was interesting. When I did that, did I just see what was that? Was that just a spark on there? This is a very bad test here. This is very, very... Sure does register as short, doesn't it? I gotta guess that something's happened underneath there. Okay, so how can we fix whatever might have happened under there without going under there? Shove a probe up between the two wires. Sweep the one aside. Try to like work a separation in there. Assuming all that's happened is well, what could happen to cause that short? The most likely thing, well, I don't know. I can't try to envision how a short would develop underneath the board there. Some pretty strange sounds coming out of this radio. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's very high pitched. Crazy radio's doing something. It's switched off and it's making sound. It's another not so good sign. Generally, you don't want your radios making sounds when they're switched off. What to do here, man? I don't know what to do. Snip both those wires and reattach them above board like I'm doing with the one. How would that eliminate a short? That wouldn't eliminate a short. If there's a short right under the board between those two, and if I'm just wasting my time here chasing ghosts, they don't mean anything. What if the other end of the wire actually does have a short? I mean, it's supposed to be shorted. What about all these different possibilities? What about them? The other end of the wire. Well, that's not the happiest news. The B connection, which is right beside the A wire, which is this is the A wire, I believe. The B wire is the one I have the pin driven into. A wire is B plus and the B wire is ground. That's not very good. Then if it's ground, we should see a short to ground on it. Yeah, it goes to ground here. Wait a minute. There it goes. And I should get that same ground from here, from on this pin. Why not? Because I misinterpreted the positions of the wires where they're soldered into the board. And I'm actually not testing the wires I think I'm testing. What about that possibility, Jimmy? That the cable actually reaches all the way over to here. Not very likely. These are perfectly in line. These ones here. This last guy is not in line. No. This is definitely the first position. Second position. My meter's not connected right now, so if you were waiting for something to happen, nothing was going to happen. Well, if we switch it on and this is shorted to ground, That's not the best. That's not the best thing. I could hit both those points with my soldering iron and just heat them up, cool them down, see what happens. I could release the short or increase the short, or maybe there's no short there at all. It's possible the first wire, the A wire, is being dragged over so far it's contacting something, but it's very unlikely. When I look at how these connections have been made in other places in the radio, there is virtually no exposed wire where the cable comes in and meets the board. So how do you develop a short where there's no exposed wire? The short would have to be right in here somewhere. Yet I'm convinced that there isn't one there. Wow. I am the maker of my own problems, aren't I? Well, I could turn it on for a short while. See what happens. Like a momentary thing. That's the entire battery voltage there. How does that happen? Because I don't think the 3-volt battery voltage makes it. Well, yeah, it does. It does. It goes straight there. Somehow. Straight there. Hold on a moment. Hold the fort here. The power which comes there gets there not from this cable, but it's going to this cable, of course. Gets there from all through here, all along here. And why is this of interest to me? I don't know. I don't really know. Well, let's just... Okay, there's the 3.2 there. Oh, there's 3.2 here now. Okay, you know what? And on here, being 1, 0. 3.2 there, 0 there. So what's this short circuit thing? .2 there, 3.2 there, 0 volts there. I say, let's turn this thing on. I say, gentlemen, let us, and women, let us turn this thing on. Let me give you the long-range view. The longer range view here. For this moment, this, once again, this could be it. I could turn this thing on and it could work and I could be done. So I'm very hesitant. Okay, volume is up a little bit. Our radio is set to FM, make a lot of noise. Here we go. Now, let's check. Oh, I got the batteries in, so we know the battery voltage is supplied. I'm not hearing much at all. Oh, we're not even getting any clicks. Oh yeah, there they are. Just need the volume up full to hear them. So we're back again to this I'm not working state. Let's check the voltage here. Well, we got the 3.2 there. Let's take a look at the display. Hey, we got one light on, one signal strength light on, so a little different operation here. You can nothing on the display. Let's go on off a few times here. Yeah, it seems to have just totally killed it. There's no light on anymore. Man. Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to post this video and go do something else for a while. And maybe you know something I should try on this. Something more I should try. But I give you what's in my head before I sign off here. Could be more than one connection in here that's not right. Could be everything's just fine here and I'm full of baloney. These wires look like they're pulled pretty tight. I've certainly gotten strong warnings, and I don't even need to hear the warnings. I can see it myself. The chance of causing a connection failure in here is really high. Because of the wires, the very stiff wires. Could be the other end of the cable. Yeah, I think I'm just going to post this video and we'll see what happens next. So thanks a lot for watching. I wish this was a little more successful, but it is what it is. See you on the next video.